Hello, and in this video we're going to look at some Part 1 questions on the topic of dictionaries. How often do you use a dictionary? To be perfectly honest, I can't recall the last time I used one. I tend to use Google Translate on my phone rather than a dictionary. What kinds of dictionaries have you used before? Well, when I was studying in high school, I used to use a paper-based one because phones were prohibited. Since buying a phone, I've been using Google Translate rather than an actual book. How will dictionaries change in the future? In the very near future, I guess that paper-based dictionaries will become a thing of the past. We are living in an electronic world and spend most of our lives on one electronic gadget or another, so we have access to online dictionaries, which will result in paper ones becoming obsolete. Do you prefer a paper dictionary or an electronic one? For ease and convenience, I have to say that electronic ones are better. Small paper dictionaries have a limited number of words, and larger ones are bulky and not portable, whereas electronic ones are handy because they're available wherever you have internet access. How would you feel if somebody gave you a dictionary as a gift? I suppose on the one hand, I'd find it a rather odd present to receive, as, like I said, they're quite dated nowadays. However, I'm currently learning Korean, therefore if I was given one, I'd think it was a thoughtful present because the person would be trying to help me with my studies. Right, let's take a look at some of these answers. First thing to notice that in Part 1 your answers tend to be quite short. If you start going into too long an answer, the IELTS examiner thinks you've memorised it and will stop you, so don't try and do a mini essay in Part 1. So to be perfectly honest, this is just another way of saying to be honest, and it makes it a little bit more complex. To be perfectly honest. I can't recall. This is another way of saying I can't remember. I tend to use. This is a very good verb to use to describe something that you do a lot. I tend to go to bed at 11 o'clock. Well, so useful little filler word to start your answer. Don't use it in every answer though. Always recommend that you try to get some past continuous in your answer and are used to. So any opportunity, when I was studying in a high school, I used to use, and then you have some complex grammar and you're ticking the grammar boxes and impressing the IELTS examiner. Instead of saying a paper dictionary, you can say a paper-based one. Phones were prohibited, very good complex grammar, and language. Prohibited means banned, not allowed. Good grammar here as well, because when we use since, or before, or after, we can follow it with a verb in the ing form. So since buying, since having. And within this short answer, we've got 4 great bits of grammar, actually 5. I've been using present perfect continuous, so something that started in the past and continues in the present. So this answer would be very impressive in a Part 1 in terms of grammar. Instead of just repeating words from the question, such as in the future, try to change it, try to make it more complex. In the near future, or in the very near future, meaning soon. A thing of the past is something that no longer exists. So you can talk about, Xbox 360s are becoming a thing of the past. So things that are outdated and we no longer use. We are living in, so good use of present continuous, because not many candidates use continuous tenses. So if you are good at them, get them in your IELTS speaking. One electronic gadget or another. So just a good way of saying on electronic gadgets. and you have access to. This means that you can use. Obsolete, very good word for talking about lots of things, and it means no longer exists. Very good to get some nouns in here. Ease, something that's easier. Convenience, something that's convenient and good to use for ease and convenience. A limited number, so I'm trying to say a smaller number of words. Larger ones are bulky. This means they're big and difficult to carry. They're not portable. This means that you can't carry them. Whereas, so we're comparing here and making our sentence more complex, electronic ones are handy. This means they're easier to use. For this question, I'm sort of doing it a bit like an essay, so on the one hand and comparing it to the other hand, because it gives you a little bit more to say, but like I said before, don't try and give a full essay answer in part one. A rather odd present. This means odd means strange. Dated. This is a useful word for writing and speaking, and it's something that's out of date, no longer current. Here we've got if I was given one. This question is a second conditional. How would you feel? So I'm using the second conditional in the answer, but I'm also using the passive, if I was given one. I'd think it was a thoughtful present, so there's the second part of my conditional, I would think. And a thoughtful present, somebody has put a lot of thought into it because the person would be trying to help me. So we've got the conditional throughout this answer. Hope you found this video useful. Thanks for watching.